I'm hoping that for those of you that have been tuning in over the past several weeks are actually getting some important practical truths. We've turned our attention right now to just share what we're entitling Life Lessons. Over the last couple of weeks, we've been sharing just practical life lessons on how life is supposed to work. We began with reckoning with the fact that life comes from the life giver. That would be God. Life doesn't come from man. So we need to turn to the life giver to really understand how life is supposed to function and how life is supposed to work. So that's what we've been doing over the last couple of weeks, just sharing that with you. And I want to, we're going to continue in that with that same theme, that same thought, as we turn our attention to our Life Point Journal for today. The value of life is measured by the volume of life that comes out of us. This journal reading that we're sharing today is to help us understand how to measure life. And we need to, right off the bat, make sure that we are not using the measuring stick, if you will, that we will find in the society that we live in. As we have established already, all of our values and all of our understanding about life should come from the influence from our life giver. And so when we measure life, we shouldn't be measuring it by the amount of what we possess, by the material value of what we possess, but we really need to measure life based upon the volume of life that is coming out of us. That's how life should be measured. The true value of life is not measurable in material terms, and we're going to look at that a little bit later in our life lesson. The value of life we can't put a dollar sign on it. We can't put a star behind it, regarding personal accomplishments or achievements. The true value of life is really measured by the volume of life that is coming out of us. So the life giver, God, gives us life. What we do with that life, how we allow that life to reach its maximum potential, and we begin to share life with others. The volume of life that begins to come out of us because of what God has put in us, that is the truer measure of life. How much of God is flowing out of us? How much of the life that comes from God is flowing out of us? So that's what I want you to think about for today as we prepare to go into our life lesson. We're going to the book of Luke, chapter 12. I want you to find verse 15. And he said unto them, Take heed and beware of covetousness, for a man's life consisteth not in the abundance of the things which he possesses. This is a connection to what we shared in our journal reading today. Life cannot be measured by the dollar sign of the value of material things we possess. Life should be measured by the volume of what we're doing with the life that God has put in us. So I want you to hold on to that. Let me say that one more time. Life is not measured by the value, the dollar sign of our material possessions. It's not measured on the amount of material possessions that we have gathered, that we have ascertained. But life should be measured by the volume of what we're doing with the life that God has placed in us. How we're allowing the life that we talked about in our last broadcast, that's the life that comes from God, what we're doing with that life. How we're allowing that life to flow through us and to impact the world that we live in. That's how life should be measured.